I've gone through the process, I've found my tenant. Throughout that process of finding the tenant to move into one of our properties, what I'm doing is testing communication. Are they good at sending me an email? Do they respond to a text? Will they pick up the phone and talk to me? I need to know at the front end they will communicate with me, because at the back end, if we've got a problem when they're in the house, I need them to talk to me. So once I've picked my tenant, the first thing I will do is send them all the documentation. So that is their how to rent guide, their EPC, their gas safe, their electric safe. There's a big long list of paperwork that you must send them at the front end. In with that, I will actually send them a dummy AST. It's really important that the tenant has time to read through the conditions that you're going to ask them to sign for. So I'll send that over to them. Around a week before move-in, I will then ask them for their month's rent in advance and their month's deposit, obviously minus the holding fee that they've already paid us. Once we get that money in, we will protect their deposit, and we then issue them with their deposit paperwork. So that's their prescribed information and their deposit certificate. Along with that, we then give them the final AST. So this is the one that we're going to want them to sign. They sign that. We do all of our paperwork e-sign, so it's signed online. They automatically get a copy of it, and we get a copy of it once it's all signed. So actually, on the day of move-in, the majority of the paperwork is done. Before they move in, we have an independent inventory clerk that comes in, and what she does is she takes pictures of the property and she writes up about the condition of the property. So it's someone completely independent of us as the housing provider has taken a very clear inventory. We send that to the tenant 3 days before they move in, so they've had a chance to have a look through it. When they walk through the door, I'll say to them, go and have a look around the property, compare that inventory that you've got on your phone with the actual property. Is that correct? If they're happy and that's correct, they sign that. And then what I do is I actually do a video inventory. So I will film them in every single room. I will describe every single room, and I will ask them if they agree and that's correct. And what that means is they have got a very clear record of the condition of the property, but also we've kept a very clear record of the safety of the property when they've moved in. We will do exactly the same as that when they move out. So when they move out, we ask them to have cleared all of their furniture out of the property, and I will come in and I will again film the condition of the property. Those two videos next to each other then provide the basis of a conversation around, are there any deposits, any deposit monies to be deducted? Generally, touch wood, I'm really lucky, we don't have any deposit deductions, because they've had those videos, they know the condition of the property for it to be handed back into. When a tenant's moved in, as part of the move-in process, I will also explain to them what we call our snagging process. So I will say to a tenant, Jane, I've never lived in this property. I don't know if a tap leaks or if a door doesn't open. What I would say to you is live in the property for 2 weeks, and as you find a leaking tap, a door that doesn't open, write it all down in one list. 2 weeks after you've moved in, give the office a call and we will take a list of all of those issues. What that means is the tenant isn't phoning you every day, and we haven't got a breakdown in communication because you see their name pop up on your phone, you're like, oh my goodness. But also from me, from a housing provider's point of view, I can then be sending one works person out on one day. It's less inconvenience for the tenant and everything is fixed. I obviously distinguish with the tenant to say, look, if something's a snag, hold it, but if something is going to cause a problem in the property, you know, you've got a leak coming through the ceiling, I need you to ring me about that immediately. We actively encourage the tenant, if there is a problem in their property, to let us know. So even on day of move-in, before I leave the new tenant, I will make sure the office phone number is saved in their mobile phone. So if they have a problem over the weekend, say for example, they can get hold of us. But on the next day after they've moved in, they will then be uploaded onto an application so that they can then report any issues straight onto an app on their phone. So say for example, they're working long hours hours, they're a nurse, they're on shift pattern. At 2 o'clock in the morning, they see that they've got a small leak or the door's not shutting properly. They just take a picture, upload it, and then we can work with it immediately when the office opens. We will do an inspection within the first 4 months of a tenant moving in. So that's just to make sure that they have got, you know, if they've got any problems, they're unsure of anything, we've got that documented. So we'll do a first inspection 4 months. Generally, we will do them 6 monthly thereafter. However, if we think a tenant is maybe showing some signs of hoarding, if there's higher than average wear and tear, we can increase that frequency. It's very much about looking at your tenant, looking at the property and working out what is it that both of those need to make sure that they're safe and secure, the property's safe and secure, and that everyone is happy in that relationship.